Welcome, people. This is the first time I've done this. I've recorded myself going on my bike and doing some deliveries for Uber Eats. Now, this is not my full-time job. Something I do as a bit of a side hustle to earn a bit of extra money. Just to give a little bit of background, I'm a 51-year-old man. I started doing this about a month or so ago, and at the same time basically as learning or buying a moped and learning how to ride it, I decided to get started on Uber Eats. Maybe not the wisest decision in the world, but hey, at the time it seemed like a good idea. And I've been doing it about a month, and it's been a fascinating experience, really. I've been doing it here in Sheffield, so if anyone's familiar with Sheffield, you might see some sights and places you know well. And I'm going to do this first one here on a Saturday afternoon. This may not be the busiest time of day to do this, so I don't know how much actual custom we'll get today, but that perhaps gives you an idea of how well paid this gig can be at times, or not well paid, because the amount you earn can be pretty shocking at times. You can sort of, minimum wage is just about doable. You might be lucky and get a bit more done than that. If you have a really good night, you can pick up 15 to 20 quid an hour, but that's really going some. In most cases, you're probably looking like 10 to 12 quid an hour, which, is not much, I appreciate. And to be honest, there are other jobs I could have done which would have earned more, but I couldn't stand the thought of sitting in front of a computer even more than I already do for my work to do an extra job as well. So I had to balance that up and decide, well, you know what, it may actually be better to do something which pays a bit less, that gets you out of the house, gets you learning a new skill, gets you doing something a bit different. So I don't know how useful this will be for people who are watching. I mean, you might think, well, maybe this is something that I could do. I know that people's opinions of these sort of gig economy jobs, the kind of delivery drivers and things like that, is pretty low. But what I think I've learned over the last few weeks is that this is not a particularly easy job. It's a pretty challenging job for people to do. It takes a lot out of you. I find it, for me to do it just a few hours is absolutely fine. But many people are doing this as their full-time job, and they spend the whole day doing it, morning, afternoon, evening. Oh, here we go. Taco Bell, Sheffield, Devonshire Street. Okay, I'll confirm. Let's do that one. Okay, I got my first order in. I've got to go down to Taco Bell now. So I'm zipping around obviously on a moped. I could have done it in a car, but several reasons why I decided to go with a moped. One, I was kind of curious to learn how to ride a moped. I thought this would be a great chance for me to do that. I also wanted to get myself a moped, just cut down on some of the petrol costs, commuting and stuff like that. So this is an electric scooter, so it really costs nothing to run. It's cheap as chips. You just basically plug it in on the mains and a few hours to charge, 50-60 miles to a full charge, and good to go. So yeah, this is my first time trying to record anything like this, so I'm not quite sure how all the video and audio will come out. I think the audio particularly, I've got a kind of an internal microphone in the helmet. I tested it a couple of times and it seemed to work okay, but it's kind of tricky, especially when it's very windy. It does pick up quite a bit of that, so I'm hoping that the audio comes through reasonably well. Okay, now this is always the interesting thing, is where the hell you're going to park. Let's see how close I can get to this place, and then work out where I get there, where I'm going to actually put the bike, because think one of the big issues really is security, making sure that it's safe. I think actually a moped is likely to be a bit more safe than a bicycle, which is a bit of an easier grab because they don't have the keys or whatever. A motorbike can be a bit trickier, but let's just scooch past them and make your mind up. Okay. I feel I've become a far more intolerant driver since doing this kind of thing, but there we go. Okay, just pick up your order. Alright mate, got an order for Miles C. Oh sorry. Oh, I got to the wrong place. Oh. Alright mate, not too bad. Oh. Huh? This is my first order, it just come out actually. What about you?
Second order.
Yeah. I thought I had two and then one must have dropped off. How long you been out? Yeah. Is that it, yeah? Those are the, is that the drink? Oh, it's something else, was it? Oh, it's Pepsi. Yeah, cheers. That's everything, yeah? Is that everything? Yeah. Okay. Now we're off. That order took a little bit longer than I hoped because the Taco Bell order is going to be sat in the old bag, getting colder and colder. I think this is always the sort of the issue sometimes is to what extent you wait around for orders in case, you know, it does get a bit long enough so that it begins to get cold, I think. So we're looking at 12 minutes now for this first order. So I reckon this is probably going to take us about an hour all told for both orders. So we're looking at 10 quid for an hour's work, so kind of do the maths a little bit there. It's not a huge amount of money coming in, is it? But it's nice being out on a Saturday afternoon. The weather's quite nice. It's a little chilly but not too bad. I'm out on the bike in the thick of it, and a little bit of cash. But also just seeing a bit of the city as well. I think one of the things doing this job is I've seen parts of Sheffield I didn't even know existed, and seen just sort of different areas, and you know, the more affluent and the less affluent areas, and get a real sense of the sort of geography of the city and what's going on. That's been fascinating, really. You do also get an idea of how people treat people who do work like this as well, and we've probably all done it ourselves, been a bit dismissive or irritated with a delivery driver because they didn't bring the right order, or they didn't come on time, or the food was cold and stuff like that. And yeah, while I do understand that, at the same time it's often for reasons beyond their control. You're at the mercy of the kind of algorithm that Uber throws up to you, which is one thing. So they might give you orders, you know, in disparate places, and you're also kind of at the mercy of how long the restaurants are going to take to get their stuff together, to get the food ready. Sometimes you'll go there, you got one order in your bag, and then you've got, you know, to wait another 10-15 minutes to collect the next order. Now you can either sometimes cancel that if you want to get on with the previous one, or you just wait. But it does mean the other order's getting a bit chilly in the bag. You try to keep it warm in the thermal bag, but it depends what it is really. Certain types of food seems to stay warm longer, and also the restaurants pack food better. Some restaurants pack the food really poorly and don't wrap it up properly and don't use their own sort of thermal bags to keep it warm, in which case it can arrive pretty cold at that point. But you know, but some places do a really good job, and so when it gets there, it's you know, regardless of how long it's been in the bag, it's pretty warm. There's a chicken place, I think it's called Portofino in Sheffield, that does a really good job of packing things properly, so it always arrives hot. We've had it a few times ourselves. Hi there. Just get that for you. There you go. Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, let's just pop it in here. Have you got the pin for us?
Yeah, of course, mate. 7484.
There you go, and your drinks there. Catch those. Oh, you got them.
Oh, thanks so much.
Cheers so much. Have a good day. All right, let's go to Kentucky. Never been to this one before. Doesn't seem far though. So again, I think I'm going to get about £7 for this. This is like a double order, so two places. They generally tend to be quite close to each other, or close-ish. So we'll see. Again, we can start to do a bit of the maths. £7. It's taken me about 5 minutes so far. So if I did it in half an hour, let's say, then that's kind of, and let's imagine I had another one of those, it would be, you know, £14 an hour. Again, not wonderful, but better than the £10 I earned the previous hour. So it's very variable. It's not like a job where you're getting the same amount all the time, which again, from my perspective as someone who is doing this as a bit of a side hustle, that's okay. I can deal with that. But for those who are doing it as a proper job, and you know, we know that there are a lot of people doing this potentially illegally because they can't find other work, or they're using what we call kind of rented accounts. So it'll be someone else's account, but they're delivering on it. They're probably not even getting the full whack of what it says on the app anyhow, and they're getting a percentage of that. Or, you know, again, I suppose it depends how much people take, what they slice off. I suppose they can be as greedy as they want in some cases. Okay. All right, mate. Is that Kentucky? Cheers. Have a good one. Okay, off we go again. Okay, kind of heading towards Chesterfield here. I've done this a couple of times. There's a few kind of villages between Sheffield and Chesterfield. Well, I think they're actually located technically in Derbyshire. I think there's actually a sign somewhere around here which shows the entrance to Sheffield. There you go, enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Stay safe. Thank you.
You too. Okay, well, apologies if that got a bit interrupted or cut off at some point, but I ran out of battery, so I had to put in a new battery into my camera. But I'm now back in sort of centre-ish of Sheffield, or just sort of on the outskirts of the centre. It took me about 15-20 minutes to get in. Let's have a quick look in terms of earnings, what we've done so far. So let's have a quick look. So you can see today, 17:56, 1 hour 17 driving time. That doesn't account sort of waiting time and things like that. So I'd say I've been out probably about 1 hour 40, 1 hour 45, something like that, and made that amount of money. Now I'm just waiting for another order to come in. Trying to avoid the city centre at the moment because there's the Sheffield United game probably piling out, and it's going to be chaos in there, and traffic's going to be wall to wall. So I've come to a place called Exeter Road, which is just a bit outside of Sheffield. Lots of kind of restaurants and stuff. You can see over there is Dunkin' Donuts and KFC, and down this road lots of other places you can eat. It's Papa John's and Sainsbury's and Nando's and Pizza Express and stuff like that. So this is always quite a nice place to kind of sit for orders, although you don't get as many as you would think you would get here. So I'm going to sit here for another 10-15 minutes, just sort of rest a little bit, stretch my legs, and then if I don't get any more orders come in, I might move, or I might call it a day and go back home. 17 quid for a couple of hours isn't too bad. You know, could buy the baby a new bonnet, or at least a takeaway, or not like you should give babies takeaways, I don't think, but we'll see. I think this is the interesting thing about Uber, is that I find if you sit still and don't do anything, they don't seem to like it, and you don't get that many orders. Whereas if you're on the move, so I often find I'll be sort of stood in a car park somewhere waiting, or you know, stood near a restaurant waiting, and nothing comes in. As soon as you get on your bike and start to move around, even if you're not going anywhere specific, you'll often get orders come up. So it's a bit of a mystery, the Uber Eats algorithm. Not sure really how it works. It might just feel, might be a bit sort of superstition to feel that that's what happens, but it does seem to be that way. But we'll wait and see. Anyway, I'll check in with you as soon as I get another order. I'll let you know. Minutes. So, oh, there you go. We got a Pizza Express order. Yeah, let's confirm. Cliffield Road, Pizza Express. Cheers.